This is Jim Emter, Van Ahn Co., Alexandria, Minnesota, with your closing grain and livestock comments for May 22nd, 2018. Corn up 1 to 2 1/4, beans up 5 1/4, Chicago wheat up 13 to 14 1/4, Minneapolis up 9 to 11 1/4, Kansas City up 13 to 14. Great start to the day. We really kind of proceeded. Wheat market at times was up over 20 cents, 23, 24, that range there, but settled back here a little bit towards the close, and that resulted in corn and beans kind of faltering back a little bit as well. So now we've stuck kind of seeing what will happen tomorrow, watching a lot of things, a lot of heat and hot weather working in the next 10 days. We got a couple days of mild, then we really warm up there through the Memorial Day weekend. And we're going to come back with a pretty important forecast as we work ahead. A lot of areas going to need rain after this heat's here. We've got some forecasted for northern Iowa, Minnesota, and the Dakotas here this week yet, and we'll kind of see how that all comes to fruition. But should be a wild finish to this week here, and we got 3 days left of it. Key resistance area is 407 right now off this corn market. The bean market is right around this 1045, 1050 area, and Minneapolis wheat at around 640, 650, and we're right up against all these numbers right now. We break above it, and corn we open up price counts to around 618, 620 off the July. New crop possibly all the way up to that 635 to 435 to 440 area, excuse me there. So for old crop July corn, possibly up into that 420, 418 area. For new crop, possibly into that 435 to 440 area. When we look to the spring wheat market, the next price counts are up towards that 680 area. And for beans, around that 1082 mark, if we can get above 1052 and sustain it. So that's what we'll be watching for. We're kind of at that go or no-go point where if we don't get going, though, we could break down 20 cents in the corn market. We could break down 50 cents in beans and potentially break down that 20 to 40 cents in wheat. So we're kind of give or take. We'll see what the forecast says, but a vulnerable spot nonetheless, and look for some movement as we either accelerate to the top side or break down here. Feeder cattle, when you look to it right now, up 12.5 to 22.5. Live cattle steady up 30. Hog market down 80 to 172.5. Cold storage report was pretty much negative across the board, so no help there. Cattle market trying to sustain this trade over 100 off the August. Hog market breaking down, testing the lows here. And again, I think that's a trend where we can find some support, but just don't see hogs really standing up here too much at this juncture. Maybe things can change here in a month or so. Cattle market, on the other hand, I think we're rounding out a bottom here with some upside potential as you work into summer. This has been Jim Emter, Van Ahn Co., Alexandria, Minnesota. Trading in futures and options involves risk of loss and is not suitable for all producers. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This is a solicitation. Have a great afternoon.